Hello everyone, I hope that all of you are doing well. Today it's time for a head-to-head shave. Canadian razors are gonna face each other and we have Karve, the Overlander, and Karve, the Bison over here. As you can see, two very different razors and two razors that I really like. Yeah, this will be interesting and I do wonder which one will be on top or it will be a tie, because they're very similar but also different. Similar in terms of technical specifications and different in terms of design and obviously the materials. But before we dive into the details, I want to thank my friend Aaron for allowing me to use his razor. We already did a review, but now it's time for the head-to-head comparison. I'm excited to check it out. So let's start with the Bison over here. Razor in aluminum, so this means that it will be lighter. This is 33.5 grams. The blade gap is 0.71 millimeters and the exposure is 0.06 millimeters. And here the Overlander in brass, it's a heavier razor, of course, as expected, 110 grams. Not sure if with this handle the weight is slightly different, because this is the customized option using the G-Tech handle, which is a bit shorter. So that's something that I'm not sure if it will impact the total weight of the razor. The blade gap is slightly bigger, 0.73 millimeters, and the exposure as well, slightly bigger compared to the Bison, 0.07 millimeters. Excellent. Both very cool looking and the machining on both is exceptional. The tolerances extremely low, crafted really well, CNC machined for both, and they're both 3-piece razors. I'm just gonna disassemble so we can take a look. Okay, here we have the two handles, the Overlander, the G-Tech option, and over here, as you can see, this is the Never Alone version done by the razor company in collaboration with the razor company. It's still made by Karve, but this is for the Never Alone. Over here a few details that are exclusive for this specific edition. Very cool looking handles, both of them. Very nice grip. I have to say that having the knurling over here on the entire length of the razor, sorry, not of the razor, of the handle, compared to this handle over here, this part is smoother, provides probably slightly more grippy feel, but this is not a bad handle at all. It's actually quite comfortable. Here we have the top caps of the razors. Over here the design is very similar. As you can see, securing the blade with peels, and the threading is very smooth, very low tolerances, as I mentioned, for both razors when you screw the handles, and the threading kind of like poles are generous and long. So the handles are nicely secured. And here we have the base plates of both razors. You can see big leather channels, slightly bigger for the Bison, and as you can see here, the peel details of the Bison are fully open, while the plate over here is solid. So the peels are kind of like with this cool design. This looks fancier in my opinion. Let's prepare the razors for a shave, and I'm gonna go back to the trusty Wilkinson Sword blades. These are the blades that I use with for comparison. I like them because they're not too sharp, but they're not really dull. They're kind of like middle ground and they're still smooth. And I believe that I already used them once for one comparison, but they should be almost as good as new because it's just half shave with each of them. Both razors are loaded. You can see the blades nicely aligned. Very good. No overhangs on both, so when you go under your nose, or if you're a head shaver, you shouldn't be really worried about those tricky spots where you can kind of like get small nicks from the corners. That's good. And as you can see here, we have the design of the Overlander, kind of like more classic with bigger gaps on the sides. This for me is important because I like razors that help me to have very precise knowledge and feeling of where the cutting width of the blade is. And speaking of this, here the Bison is an example where the base plate is getting really close to the edge of the blade, which is a bonus when you're detailing your facial hair. Over here, a small comparison. For the soap or the cream, today I use GOF Trumper coconut oil. Nothing spectacular in terms of smell, just nice cream that it's really good for dry skin during cold weather. I have it lathered over here in my fine bowl. It was staying for a while. About the smell, very faint note of coconut. Apologize if my voice feels a bit weird or I seem to have low energy. It seems that there is another round of cold trying to hit me, so hopefully this one will be not as long as the other. It's been a while since I used this cream, and I can tell that even without adding too much water, seems that the density of the lather is kind of like thinner or more on the watery side. Okay, first pass. Let's go on this side with the Overlander with the grain. We're going over 2.5 days of growth. And yeah, about the cream, there is kind of like less slickness. That being said, the razor is very smooth. The Bison actually feels similarly smooth. Yeah, the residual slickness is lacking. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm making that comment because after reviewing the Overlander, I did a separate shave after with the Bison, and when I had the shaves only with each of these razors, they feel really different. But I was expecting more difference in terms of feeling, because as you can see the heads, the focus is not really cooperating. You can see how with the Bison, the angle is a little bit more locked over here on the top side. Kind of like getting close to Hanson with that kind of like steep, flat surface. While the Overlander is a little bit more rounded and classic in terms of a profile. So I expected that there will be some smooth difference, not only because of the shape, but also because the Bison is having these lines over here. They're not very visible on the camera, right? Over here, like this. So you can feel them a little bit. I don't know what the function of that is, but I thought that when I have the side-to-side comparison, I'll feel a little bit more kind of like textured feeling, similar to when I was comparing with this one with the Apex, I believe. Oh, interesting. I was just comparing the stubble after the first pass, and it seems that the Bison is a little bit more efficient, which is unexpected. The gap is slightly smaller and the exposure of the blade is slightly smaller. Very interesting. Another thing that I started feeling shortly after putting the lather is that my skin is tingling from it. I can't recall ever feeling this with this cream, but yeah, I do wonder if over the last 7-8 months that I didn't use it, it didn't expire, or yeah, or my skin is spoiled and it's indicating this is not a artisan soap. Please change the lather. Obviously the weight and the metal, they both feel different. I just tried not to factor this into my comparison. Second pass with the Bison, across the grain. For detailing, as mentioned earlier, that narrowing over here compared to the Overlander really provides extra confidence when you're detailing, that you can be a bit more precise with the Bison. Okay, end of the second pass. So there is still slight advantage for the Bison on this side. Wow, I did not expect that. Because it's with a smaller gap, smaller exposure. Surprising. There is something with that angle, I guess, of the Bison that helps. Okay, third pass. Let's focus to see what else I can get as a difference. Yeah, when it comes to the detailing over here, it's kind of like a bit hard to be precise. Sorry, forgot the water. Time for the bison. Interesting enough, the bison with this blade feels way smoother. I cannot believe that, compared to the Overlander for the against the grain pass. That's something that caught me off guard. And again, if you didn't watch some of my previous reviews, if you're saying, oh, you're using your right hand with this razor, guess what? My dominant hand is my left hand. So this on theory is my slightly less skillful hand, even though that I'm very comfortable using both for shaving. Yeah, you can probably hear by the feedback and also observe the skin. The bison is actually smoother against the grain. This may not be the case with other blades, but today for this comparison, that's a surprise. Okay. After against the grain pass, things are pretty even. Again, tiny advantage on the cheek over here in favor of the bison. I cannot believe that. And for the mustache area, tiny advantage for the bison. Again, that's unexpected in my opinion. And yeah, when I shave with the razors individually, I always had the feeling that maybe the Overlander is not only smoother but also more efficient. But against the grain pass, the bison surprised me today. Very interesting. The alum won't be pleasant, as I mentioned. I felt kind of like the stinging sensation from the lather of the cream. Yeah, the main tingling sensation was even before reaching to shave this area here under the nose. So I'm gonna do this last. The bison here, nothing. The Overlander, ooh, a little bit over here and over here. Yeah, the mustache area here from the irritation of the soap. It's kind of like even. But yeah, the bison area here, there is nothing, and just a little bit on these two spots from the Overlander. Another surprise. For the finish, I'll just use some tires, witch hazel. Okay, that's the end of it. Very surprising razor comparison. My bets were that this will be the more efficient one, just because of the specs and the advantages for the blade gap and the exposure. And also my expectations were that this will feel smoother, especially on the against the grain pass. One thing that I can tell for sure is that with Wilkinson's Sword, the Overlander is not as smooth compared to Gillette Nasset. My other two shaves with it were with the Nasset, and it was smoother. It's still very smooth razor. I don't think that you will feel uncomfortable unless you use a horrible blade with the Overlander. And yeah, the Bison, Yeah, I'm very familiar with it. It's my razor, so I have way more shaves. That's why I used also my right hand, my non-dominant hand on this side here with it. But yeah, my razor surprised me. The Bison is kind of like taking an edge, not only in terms of smoothness for the against the grain path, against the grain pass, but also in terms of efficiency. Very interesting. You see something with the design here works better for me. Let's not forget this, okay? You may test these two razors with the same look and same materials, brass versus aluminum, and you may have slightly different results, and that's normal. Why? Because this is my skin, my beard, and my shaving technique. So it's important. You can use this comparison as a guide, but also it may be very different for different individuals. Both excellent razors. I love them both. I'm not sure if I can pronounce a winner, because the differences are in the nitpicky territory. They're very, very minor. Aluminum razor, obviously this one is the cheapest option, $4.99 Canadian dollars on the Karve website. This one in brass starts from 150 Canadian dollars. So both are excellent, both are priced very well, on my opinion, because they shave very, very well. Some of the best razors that you can buy on the market, on my opinion. For beginners or for experienced wet shavers, these are fantastic choices. And I honestly cannot really pronounce a winner. This is probably a bit more appropriate for me because I have a goatee and provides a bit more confidence and comfort when I'm shaping my goatee. But that's probably just a matter of 5 or 10 more shaves with this one to equalize this factor. So I'm not trying to really have it as a final say. In my opinion, this is a tie, and probably I get better performance with the Bison because I shaved more with it, as I mentioned. Yeah, those comparisons are very enjoyable and somewhat addictive, and this one surprised me a lot because I was expecting different results. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you want to compare some other razors. I'll see you in the next shaving video. Until then, stay safe.